Most people peak in their 20s. You know the drill: metabolism revving like a Ferrari, hormones balanced, skin glowing, hairline intact. Then 30 hits, and suddenly you're Googling, "Why do my knees sound like bubble wrap?" But Dr. David Sinclair? Different story. The man is 54 years old, works at Harvard, and casually drops the flex that his health markers are better than your average 20-year-old. Which, let's be honest, is inspiring. And also kind of insulting to anyone currently in their 20s. And he's not guessing. He's got years of lab tests to prove it. His blood sugar, chef's kiss. Hormones, optimized. Inflammation, so low his immune system probably knits sweaters for fun. Even the shape and condition of his blood cells look like they just graduated from college. Sinclair says his body is, in measurable ways, scientifically younger now than it was decades ago. Today, we're breaking his routine into 5 juicy parts. 1. His exercise rule for longevity. 2. The single most important eating habit he swears by. 3. The exact foods on his plate. 4. The supplements that sound like they belong in a wizard's spellbook. And 5. The foods he avoids like expired sushi. And somewhere in there, we'll tackle his mic drop claim that aging is basically software corruption and that it can be hacked. Let's start with exercise. And don't worry, he's not going to tell you to run a marathon or spend 2 hours a day pretending burpees are fun. Sinclair's rule? Work out 3 times a week until you lose your breath. Like, can't hold a conversation, wheezing like a broken accordion, lose your breath. That's the sweet spot. Here's why. When you push yourself to the point of being out of breath, your body hits something called hypoxia, which is just science speak for temporarily low on oxygen. It sounds scary, but it's basically a fire drill for your muscles and heart. They scramble, they adapt, they get stronger and better at delivering oxygen next time. And the best part? You don't need 2 hours. You don't even need 1. 10 minutes. 3 times a week. That's it. According to Sinclair, just that could cut your risk of certain diseases by 30%. 10 minutes. That's shorter than the time it takes Netflix to ask, "Are you still watching?" while you shame-eat popcorn. Meanwhile, the rest of us pant after climbing 1 flight of stairs and call it cardio. Sinclair's out here casually rewriting his body's operating system in the time it takes us to argue with the vending machine. Now for the eating habit that matters most. And here's where you'll hear groans across the room. His secret? Eat less. Often. Not eat less kale. Not eat fewer cupcakes. Literally eat less frequently. He does something called time-restricted eating. Basically, he gives himself a smaller daily eating window. Sinclair eats within about 6 hours most days. That means he often skips breakfast, skips lunch, and saves 1 big meal for dinner. And yes, he says if you can get down to 1 meal a day, you might just get your 20-year-old body back. Cue collective rage from everyone who just spent $14 on avocado toast. But here's the science. When you give your body long breaks from food, you flip on something called autophagy. Fancy Greek word. It literally means self-eating, which sounds like a horror movie, but it's not cannibalism. It's cleaning day for your cells. Picture tiny janitors rolling up inside your body with trash bags, tossing out old broken cell parts, recycling the usable bits, and sweeping the place up so everything runs smoother. Autophagy is like spring cleaning for your biology. And when those janitors show up, they call in their friends, sirtuins. Now, if autophagy is the janitorial crew, sirtuins are the nightclub bouncers, elite DNA bodyguards. They patrol your genetic material, fixing damage, breaking up trouble, and making sure the party inside your cells doesn't get out of hand. When sirtuins are active, your cells act younger, which is why Sinclair is obsessed with keeping them on the clock. And here's the kicker. Fasting doesn't just tidy up your cells, it flips on survival mode. Your body becomes more resistant to stress, inflammation, and even some diseases. That's why Sinclair says fasting isn't just a diet trick, it's a youth maintenance program. Of course, skipping meals sounds noble until you're 3 hours into a fast and your stomach is louder than your neighbor's car stereo. Sinclair gets it. His tip? Keep drinking water, tea, or coffee. If you're really dying, a small handful of nuts, just enough to quiet your stomach without kicking your body out of repair mode. Aim for at least 16 hours of fasting, eat within 8. He personally pushes it to 20 because apparently Harvard professors like to flex even when they're hungry. Okay, So what actually goes on his plate when he does eat? Plants. But not just any plants. Sinclair loves stress plants, which sounds like plants in therapy, but here's the science. When plants face environmental drama, too much sun, not enough water, bugs nibbling on them, they create protective chemicals to survive. Those chemicals? Polyphenols. And when you eat those stressed out plants, you borrow their survival gear. It's like inheriting their armor. Polyphenols help fight off the wear and tear of aging in your own body. Sinclair even coined a word for this, xenohormesis, which sounds like a pharmaceutical commercial, but really just means get stronger by eating plants that have been through some stuff. So, how do you spot these warrior plants? Look for deep, dramatic colors. Dark greens, deep purples, rich reds. Think blueberries, kale, spinach, grapes. Basically, plants that look like they've been fighting for their lives in an organic field somewhere. Sinclair's regulars include matcha green tea, loaded with a polyphenol called EGCG, which sounds like an off-brand boy band but is actually great for cell defense. He eats spinach for its vitamin load, olive oil for its anti-inflammatory fats, and before going fully plant-based, he followed the Okinawan diet. Vegetables, tofu, a little fish. That diet is famous for producing centenarians who live longer than your phone's warranty. Now, supplements. This is where things get wild. His cabinet is basically half GNC, half Hogwarts. First up, resveratrol, the famous red wine compound. People love to say, drink wine, live longer, but Sinclair doesn't chug Pinot Noir for breakfast. He gets resveratrol from grape skin and berries, not a bottomless glass. It's like a light switch for sirtuins, those DNA bouncers we talked about. He takes a gram a day, mixed with yogurt to help it absorb. Yes, yogurt. Because even Harvard scientists chase pills with dairy products like the rest of us. Next, NMN, short for nicotinamide mononucleotide. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Nicotinamide mononucleosis. Boom, you're young again. But in reality, NMN helps your body make NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Think of NAD as your cell's phone battery. Without it, your cells are stuck at 1%. As you age, NAD levels crash. Sinclair tops them up to keep his cell batteries fully charged. He doesn't want his body running on low power mode. Then there's metformin, a prescription drug for type 2 diabetes. But Sinclair uses it off-label because studies suggest it might lower the risk of heart disease, frailty, even Alzheimer's. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of aging hacks. You look at his supplement lineup and think, okay, is this man reversing aging or is he secretly running a pharmacy out of his kitchen? So what's on his no-fly list? The blacklist of doom. Number 1, sugar. Sinclair calls high blood sugar sticky caramel on your insides. It latches onto your proteins, messes with their shape, and invites trouble like cancer cells to the party. Even sweet fruit is limited. Fruit juice? Forget it. He treats orange juice the way most people treat battery acid. Number 2, bread, especially white bread. He says it's like throwing gasoline on your blood sugar. Quick spike, quick crash, and you're left cranky, tired, and wondering why you thought toast was a personality. Number 3, meat. He's not emotionally anti-steak. He just doesn't love what it does scientifically. Animal protein constantly flips on something called the mTOR pathway, basically the growth signal for your cells. When mTOR is always on, it speeds aging. Plants keep that pathway calmer. Number 4, dairy. Cutting back lowers protein intake further, which nudges those longevity switches the right way. 10-minute breathless workouts 3 times a week, a 1-meal-a-day plant-heavy diet filled with warrior plants that been through stuff, a supplement shelf that sounds like sorcery, and a blacklist of sugar, bread, meat, dairy, and cocktails. The result? A man whose biological age might actually be younger than his driver's license says. And here's his mic drop. Sinclair believes aging is just software corruption. Your body's operating system slowly getting buggy over time. He's betting we can reboot it, patch it, even reverse it. So let's picture it. Somewhere in a Harvard lab, Dr. David Sinclair is basically the IT guy for human bodies. He's defragging DNA, rebooting mitochondria, deleting corrupted files, and reinstalling youth like it's a software update. And judging by the way he looks now compared to 10 years ago, You have to wonder, what if he's right? Because if a 54-year-old can outscore 20-year-olds on health markers, maybe aging isn't just downhill, maybe it's hackable. And maybe the real anti-aging secret isn't a face cream or a magic serum. It's 10 minutes of panting, a handful of stressed out plants, and the courage to ghost bread